Some K-pop idols are able to achieve a ton of fame and gain a lot of money, but for others, this career doesn't work out well, and several former idols struggled a lot after leaving the entertainment industry. In fact, many former idols had to go back to a regular life after their time under the spotlight ended, and some started to work really ordinary jobs in order to support themselves. One of the most notable former idols to take this route is Kwon Mina. As a member of AOA, she achieved a ton of success with her group, which was among the most popular K-pop acts for various years in the 2000s. However, in 2019, Mina suddenly left the group, apparently in order to pursue an acting career. In reality, this wasn't the case, and the next year, a huge controversy exploded when Mina accused AOA member Jimin of mistreating her for years, saying that the situation was so bad that she tried to take her own life. This resulted in a long battle between the two sides with a lot of twists and turns and reciprocal accusations of misbehavior. Mina's mental health during this time was in an awful state, and she even attempted to take her own life again. Luckily, she was able to recover, and she decided to take a regular job while still trying to continue her entertainment activities. By the end of 2021, she was working at a skincare shop, but it seems like this didn't really work out as she apparently left this job at some point during the following year. In 2023, Mina revealed that she had started to work part-time for an anonymous chat room in which she talked with lonely men. Initially, she was told that she would earn a lot of money as people could send her gifts that could be turned into cash, but soon it turned out to be a scam. Mina shared that she had earned over $6,000, but in order to get this money, she had to pay additional fees. In the end, she had to go through several payments and lost a total of over $38,000 to the fraudulent company. After falling victim to this scam, Mina struggled to get back on her feet. In 2024, she announced plans to reconnect with her fans by live streaming on YouTube and other platforms. However, she apparently changed her mind later, stating that this career path wasn't in her plans anymore. Instead, she revealed that she got 2 licenses related to dermatology and skincare. At the start of 2025, she announced that she had found a new job as a dermatology clinic consultant, confessing that this was a dream come true for her. In March, she shared a few pictures of herself at the clinic, encouraging fans to visit her. Many were happy for her, hoping that she could finally find some stability in her life. Unfortunately, this wasn't the case, and in August, she shockingly revealed that she had left her job at the dermatology clinic without explaining why. It's unclear what Mina will do next, but it seems like she's still struggling a lot after leaving the entertainment industry years ago. While Mina has changed jobs several times, other former idols knew very well what they wanted to do. Among these is Ruben of One Team, a boy group that debuted in 2019 and disbanded in 2021 after struggling to find any success. He actually became quite popular even before his debut with One Team, as he participated in the 2016 survival show Boys 24, reaching the semifinals. Then, in 2017, he was among the winners of the competition Mix 9, but plans for the group's debut fell through, and Ruben went back to his agency. After One Team failed to gain enough attention and was disbanded, Ruben decided to move to a new career in his other passion, art. Before becoming an idol, Ruben had actually considered a career as an artist, but he put aside these plans when he was an idol trainee. After One Team's disbandment, he decided that it was finally time to embrace his artistic side, and he surprisingly started to work as a tattoo artist, taking the name Colin. He also opened an Instagram page where he shares his works, and the photos reveal his undeniable talent in creating all kinds of tattoos. Thanks to his new career, Ruben has gained a lot of attention as a tattoo artist, and many of his clients are actually surprised to discover his past as a K-pop idol. Meanwhile, Ruben has expanded into different forms of art and has also worked as a photographer while still occasionally modeling. Now Ruben has surprisingly become one of the most popular tattoo artists in Korea, a career path that no one expected but has still proved to be very successful. Another former idol who ended up taking a regular job is Choyeon. She first became known to K-pop fans for her appearance in the 2018 survival show Produce 48, and the following year, she made her debut as a member of Boogaboo. The group didn't achieve much success and officially disbanded in 2022. Choyeon revealed that following the end of her group, she received a lot of casting offers for other opportunities in the entertainment world. However, she thought that she wouldn't be able to find happiness in this industry, so she decided to put away her dreams of being an idol and move to a new career path. Since she didn't want to move back to her hometown of Gwangju, she stayed at her aunt's house in Seoul. At first, she had no way of earning money, but then she found a job as a waitress in a Chinese restaurant located inside a department store. However, she wasn't really happy with this job and felt discouraged when people recognized her and saw what she was doing now. She was able to earn some money, but she kept wondering what she was doing with her life, and in the end, she decided to leave her job as a waitress. Now she performs at kids' musicals, and she's touring Korea, entertaining children all across the country. Thanks to this job, now Choyeon is doing much better, and hopefully she can find happiness in her new career. While Choyeon's career path is surprising, no one could have expected what former SES member Shu would end up doing. In the late 1990s, SES emerged as one of the most popular acts in K-pop, paving the way for all future girl groups. However, the group disbanded in 2002, and for several years, Shu worked as a soloist and an actress. Unfortunately, she didn't achieve much success, and at the same time, she struggled a lot with her mental health. In 2018, it was revealed that Shu was facing a lawsuit after allegedly borrowing over $500,000 that she used to fuel her unhealthy gambling habits. This was made much worse by the fact that gambling is illegal for Korean citizens, and Shu apparently spent over $700,000 in casinos across several countries. In February 2019, she was sentenced to 6 months in prison with a 2-year probation period and 80 hours of community service. After hitting rock bottom, Shu slowly started to recover, and in 2022, she returned to TV to tell her story, revealing that she had thought about taking her own life. Now in her 40s, Shu has decided to move away from the entertainment world and has begun a career as a businesswoman. In early 2025, she revealed that she's now working in the farming industry and owns a farm where she grows herbs known for their medicinal benefits. In addition to this, she's also using the plants she grows to create products for her own health supplement company. The business is now proving to be a successful venture for Shu as her products are selling well. It seems like Shu has finally been able to overcome her complicated past, and now she's living a peaceful life surrounded by nature with her husband and their 3 children. While everyone is happy about Shu and her new career, other former idols have caused controversy and concern after leaving the world of entertainment. One of these is without a doubt Kim So-hee, a former member of the girl group Elris, which debuted in 2017 and later rebranded to Alice in 2022. In April 2024, she shocked the K-pop world by announcing that she would retire from the entertainment industry and marry her boyfriend, a businessman 15 years older than her. While some were happy for her and others wanted to see her continue to work as an idol, many criticized the large age difference between So-hee and her husband. Things got much worse in May 2025 when rumors started to circulate about the true nature and origin of this relationship. An anonymous netizen accused So-hee of working at an adult establishment between 2022 and 2023, claiming that she personally interacted with her during that time. The accuser also speculated that she met her husband while working in nightlife at this bar, but So-hee firmly denied these accusations. She addressed the issue in an Instagram post, saying that she met her husband at a friend's birthday party and adding that she was planning to pursue legal action against those who spread malicious rumors about her. Despite this, the accuser continued to attack So-hee, alleging that she married a rich man she met at a bar and saying that she has evidence to back up her claims. However, this evidence hasn't been revealed, and many think that this person is just trying to spread malicious rumors about So-hee. In fact, many netizens never believed the accusations, arguing that these claims make no sense. Now So-hee has sued the accuser, who's apparently known for having previously harassed other people too. Nevertheless, So-hee is now apparently living a normal life with her husband outside the entertainment industry. What do you think of former idols taking on regular jobs after leaving the industry? Do you think they're happier now, or are they struggling even more? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to find out more interesting stories about K-pop idols. And while some left the spotlight entirely, others are still balancing fame with everyday work. Being a K-pop idol might bring fame and money, but even popular stars can end up struggling financially, and some had to find regular jobs to support their music career. One of these is Kim Yoon-jung of SS501, a boy group that debuted in 2005 and was on top of the K-pop industry in the late 2000s. Being the leader and most popular member of the group, Yoon-jung's acting career also flourished, and he got leading roles in the dramas Boys Over Flowers and Playful Kiss. After SS501 went on hiatus, Yoon-jung launched his solo career in 2011 and quickly achieved commercial success, so much so that he was regarded as one of the top stars in Korean entertainment. His popularity waned over time, and he was involved in various controversies. Most notably, he was accused of hurting his girlfriend, but in the end he was acquitted of all charges. Nevertheless, he still continued to release new music and also appeared in a few dramas. Now he's working under his own label, and he has a YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers. But despite this, he still decided to take a chance with a regular job and became a corn farmer. This new experience began when he confessed that he had some land that he bought many years ago and that was never used. So his team suggested that he could farm the land and turn this adventure into YouTube content, and Yoon-jung loved the idea. He then shared a few photos on Instagram that show him on the fields looking like a typical farmer, and fans were shocked by the contrast between his current appearance and the prince-like image that he had back when he was a huge star. Many netizens made fun of him, with some saying that they would never eat corn grown by him, while others referenced his his past controversies. In any case, it seems like Hyunjung is happy with his new life as a farmer and YouTuber and keeps updating fans on this adventure with more videos. Another idol who had to find a regular job, but for a very different reason, is Noel of Rainbow. The group was active between 2009 and 2016, and they had some success in their early years, but they never became one of the top acts in the industry. After the group disbanded, the members took different paths, with some getting into acting. Noel instead retired from the entertainment industry and planned to open a coffee shop. However, she was completely out of money and shockingly revealed that she struggled financially for years during her time as an idol. She confessed that she had to take part-time jobs and worked in cafes, bars, and restaurants to make ends meet. Things didn't get much better after she moved away from the music industry, and at one point she had almost nothing left in her bank account. So Jong-hoon helped her out with $800, but she also had to borrow money from her family. After many years of financial struggles, Noel was finally able to achieve her dream of opening a coffee shop, and now she's doing much better with her new job. Vanner is another group that struggled for a long time, as they debuted in 2019 and only started to get some recognition in 2023. In fact, they were in such financial trouble that all the members had to take part-time jobs to support themselves. In 2021, member Hye-sung was spotted working as a salesperson at a cosmetics store. He then addressed the issue during a live broadcast and was very honest about it, explaining that he had to take this job because he had been living without earnings for 2 years and needed money to support himself, as he even struggled to afford food and transportation. Fans sent him a lot of messages full of encouragement, but the group's troubles continued. In 2023, they took part in the survival show Peak Time and revealed how dire their financial situation was. They confessed that they were all working part-time jobs, as Taewon and Hye-sung worked at a restaurant, Gon got a job as a barista, Xian did food delivery, and Yongkwang was employed at a movie theater. Taewon also revealed that he had to manage the group's social media platforms, edit their YouTube videos, and even organize the schedules of all the members because their company couldn't afford to hire managers. Their story and dedication touched the hearts of many netizens, and Vanner ended up winning the competition. As winners, they got a prize of $225,000 and experienced a well-deserved career resurgence. Thanks to their success, they were finally able to leave their part-time jobs and focus entirely on their music career. A group that instead achieved a lot of success is AOA, which at one point was among the leading acts in the K-pop industry. However, they have been marked by scandals in the past few years, and some of the members had to leave the group and find new jobs. Choa was one of the most popular members, but she announced her departure from AOA in 2017 due to mental health issues. After a 3-year hiatus, Choa released a new song in 2020, and she had some limited activities in the entertainment industry since then. Meanwhile, she opened a YouTube channel where she mostly posts vlogs on her daily life. This new job has been quite successful for her, as the channel has over 400,000 subscribers, and she even revealed that she's making more money now than when she was with AOA. Another AOA member instead hasn't been that lucky. Mina left the group in 2019, and she was at the center of a lot of controversies as she accused another member of the group, Jimin, of mistreating her and even tried to take her own life. After recovering from the incident, Mina decided to take a regular job, and she opened a skincare clinic while still continuing with her activities in entertainment. It seems like the store wasn't that successful, and in 2023, Mina began working part-time for an anonymous chat room talking with lonely men. However, this job was actually a scam, and Mina lost over $38,000 to the fraudulent company. Mina is now trying once again to get back on her feet with another job, and recently announced that she will soon come back as an internet broadcaster. Yuna instead left AOA in 2021 and retired from the industry, but unlike Mina, she was quickly able to find a stable job. In fact, it looks like she already knew what she wanted to do after leaving the group, as she soon got a certificate as a yoga instructor. Yuna is now living a completely new life as a successful yoga and Pilates trainer, and just this year, she has opened her own studio. Another group that flourished at the same time as AOA was EXID. The group debuted in 2012, and at first they didn't have any success. In fact, the situation was so bad that the members were completely out of money and could barely feed themselves with the cheaper food they could find. During those hard times, Yelene took a part-time job without telling the other members and worked secretly at an ice cream shop using the money to buy food for the group. EXID's popularity exploded in 2014 with the song Up and Down, and then they continued to have a lot of success over the following years. However, the contracts of all the members expired between 2019 and 2020, and the group went into hiatus before making a comeback in 2022. Now they're still active on and off, and sometimes they make new music or appear on TV shows. During the group's hiatus, some of the members remained in the entertainment industry, but Yelene took a different path, and she experienced a lot of struggles when she wasn't active. She revealed that after many years of being in a group, she wasn't used used to doing things on her own, and the loneliness and lack of activities took a heavy toll on her. To keep herself busy, she got a part-time job at a restaurant and worked there for some time before resuming her activities in the music industry. While she isn't employed there anymore, Hyelin still visits the restaurant sometimes to help them out. Hyelin isn't the only member of EXID who got a regular job. Seulgi is also working outside of the entertainment world, although her job is more related to her idol career. In fact, it's thanks to her experience as a singer that she was able to get appointed as a music professor at the Yongin Arts and Science University, teaching in the vocal music department. Seulgi was a vocal trainer before joining EXID as an idol, and she became known as one of the top vocalists of her generation. So when the news came out, many netizens commented that she was going to be an amazing professor. Seulgi later commented about her new career, saying that she's working hard on her role as a teacher, and she's also learning how to dress and act more professionally. Jonghyun of Twice is probably the most famous superstar who took a part-time job while still being an idol. She had to take a break in October 2020 for mental health issues, and she returned the following January. However, the issues apparently weren't resolved, and Jonghyun took some more time off, going on another hiatus that started in August 2021. During this time, she decided to take a new job to heal and keep herself busy, and began working as a barista to help out a friend. She explained that she started at 6 a.m. and worked until 4 p.m., and this helped her recover from her mental health struggles. She also shared that despite Twice's popularity, customers couldn't recognize her when she was working at the cafe, and added that she never played her group's songs during her shift. While now she's back being an idol full-time, she still looks back fondly at her time as a barista, and now she even has a professional coffee maker in her own apartment. But not every former idol found a normal path. Some took a much darker turn after leaving the stage. There have been numerous stories of former idols pursuing different careers when their shot at being a K-pop idol didn't work out. It's interesting to see what career choices these people make, but there's one that has been raising concerns and questions. Why do idols turn to online adult streaming? And is it even safe? In today's video, we take a peek into the world of former idols doing the BJ streaming. Before we start, let's talk about what it actually means when someone says they're a BJ streamer. According to Urban Dictionary, BJ, which stands for broadcast jockey, is a person, most of the time of Korean nationality, who streams online, and during these broadcasts they either play games, music, they sing, or they host talk sessions. Most of these broadcast jockeys hold their streams on websites like Africa TV, which actually allows them to earn money through their streams. There's an option to pay for certain services during those streams. Some of these streamers will also engage in suggestive acts or conversations, but the rule is they cannot take their clothes off. Recently, we have seen more and more former K-pop idols turn to these streaming websites as an easy way to earn some money. People who have turned into so-called broadcast jockeys include Kang Eun-bi, Crampop's Ellen, or M-Black's G.O. But what are the reasons people turn into BJs instead of pursuing their career in the celebrity world? Well, M-Black's G.O. spoke about it in one of his streams. G.O. completed his mandatory military service in 2018, and once he was discharged, he did not go back to performing, but instead, he decided to become a streamer on Africa TV. G.O. explained, "As a member of M-Black, there were things I was forced to do against my will. I often wondered if I really had to go to this length. That's why I got interested in personal media. I got into it 4 years ago and started the preparation 2 years ago." G.O. also commented on how people view these broadcast jockeys and said, "I was fully aware of the prejudice people have about personal media, but I believe it is a problem about the individual, not the platform." It's reported that during the first week G.O. started broadcasting as a BJ, his income added up to over $25,000. I mean, if you're an idol, you hardly make that amount of money in 1 week, unless you're doing brand deals, and you also must be extremely popular. While all of this seems like innocent fun, most of the time it can get actually pretty messy really quick. Back in November of 2019, Crampop's Ellen got herself stuck in a huge controversy because of something that happened during her live broadcasts. On November 1st of 2019, an anonymous netizen accused a female BJ anonymously nicknamed A, who was formerly an idol, of scamming him out of 1 billion won by pretending to be in a romantic relationship with him. The victim said, "I'm writing this so there's not another victim like me. We exchanged a lot of Kakao Talk messages. For 1 year, how could she give someone she doesn't think of as a man her personal number, send a photo of her legs when she wakes up, say that we should live together 3 years from now, and introduce me to her mother?" The victim further revealed that he spent over 700 million won worth of balloons, which is a virtual currency on Africa TV, and an additional 300 million won on gifts like necklaces, shoes, bags, and moving expenses. The victim stated, "The amount isn't important because it's something I did because I wanted to. I don't even want to get a refund. However, I don't want there to be another victim of A's irresponsibility when it comes to a person's emotions." It didn't take long for netizens to put 2 and 2 together and find out out that the person A was actually Ellen. On November 8th of 2019, Ellen hosted a live broadcast where she explained the whole situation and also admitted to be involved in a romance scam. Ellen said, "The victim A gave me a month's time for a chance to apologize, but I stubbornly did not. I wanted to continue my broadcast activities, and so I responded with hasty lies. I'm sorry." Ellen then went on to explain that she had apologized to victim A and that he accepted her apology. At the end, Ellen made it very clear that she was not in a relationship while being involved in the romance scam, as many people conspired. Ellen said, "It's not true that I had a boyfriend at the time. I broke up with an ex-boyfriend before I began my BJ promotions. I know that due to my previous mistakes, my attempt to speak the truth now can also fall under suspicion. But this part is entirely true." As of 2020, the same man that Ellen was involved in a romance scam with has found a new BJ to support. I mean, some never learn. There are some people whose past hide some dark secrets. Former member of the group Glam, Dahi has also taken up the career of a broadcast jockey, and it was reported that in 2021, she has received as much as 700 million won in star balloon revenues despite her shady past. Dahi debuted as a member of Glam, Big Hit Entertainment's first girl group, in 2012, and just 2 years into her career, she was embroiled in a controversy. In 2014, it was revealed that she had attempted to threaten actor Lee Byung-hun for money. Dahi claimed that she had footage of the actor saying inappropriate things to her while they were having drinks, and she demanded 5 billion won from the actor. According to reports at the time of the controversy, Dahi owed her agency almost 300 million won, and it's speculated she blackmailed him to get the money. Although Dahi submitted a letter of apology, the court did not find the letter sincere enough, and since she failed to prove she regrets her actions, it counted against her. Dahi was sentenced to 2 years of probation, and when her probationary period ended in 2018, she started her broadcasting activities and also changed her name to Kim Si-won. This was met with a lot of backlash from netizens in the beginning, both the change of her name and her Africa TV debut, but things have calmed down by now. Dahi has been extremely successful as a BJ, and not only is she making money from Africa TV, she can also earn additional profits by receiving personal donations from her viewers. Not to mention that Dahi is also active as a YouTuber, so with all of these things combined, she probably leads a very lavish lifestyle. It was only last year that an article about her popped up saying that she earns about $600,000. Another K-pop idol that has gotten themselves stuck in a controversy due to becoming a BJ is Dae Somi. The situation with Somi has been mysterious for a while now. The last time Somi had participated in official group activities was in 2019, and when the girl group made a comeback in 2020, Somi was nowhere to be seen. It was due to her sudden hiatus, which was never officially announced. At the beginning of January of 2022, it was finally revealed what's been going on with Somi and why she hasn't been promoting with the group for so long. According to numerous media sites, Somi is no longer a part of Dae. On January 9th of 2022, Dae's agency Pocket Doll Studio released an official statement regarding Somi. They stated, "Somi has terminated her exclusive contract due to health reasons," confirming what many of us already thought. While many fans were understandably upset, it was kind of predictable since Somi hasn't participated in any activities for almost 3 years. Somi's unexplained hiatus ended in November of 2021 when Somi came back to the internet as a broadcast jockey for the streaming website Panda TV. A lot of people believe that this was the reason why her contract got terminated because Panda TV is much different from Africa TV. This website is focused around an audience of 19+ people and has become widely known amongst Korean netizens for content that is more on the spicy side. Panda TV features a lot of female streamers that usually dress up in revealing clothes to attract the interest of online users. Because of the sudden outbreak of popularity of these websites in South Korea, it's not that surprising that another K-pop idol has decided to earn their income this way. Because of the general stigma around BJ streaming and the fact that the female streamers often present themselves very provocatively, many fans believe that this was the reason why Somi had to leave her former agency. Somi's decision was met with a lot of negative feedback. One fan on Twitter explained that she had attended a lot of Dae fan meetings and that she even collected photo cards of Somi. So seeing the path Somi took up made them feel very shocked and deeply disappointed. The fan wrote, "I'm having a reality check. I was worried Somi would get hurt when people would say she was ugly on V Live. Now she's smiling and laughing with revealing clothes on. I feel like I wasted time and money. It's driving me crazy. I bought her photo card for 20,000 won, and to think I was carrying around a photo card of a Panda TV BJ during my innocent high school years." That same fan then advised Somi to enroll in a university and once again expressed they feel very embarrassed for being a fan of someone who does such broadcasts. One netizen commented, "If she was able to be successful as a celebrity, she would have continued. She couldn't earn money doing that, so she found another job. It doesn't look good, but it's not illegal. It's her life that she chose for herself." I think that these reactions are way too harsh, and I think it's up to Somi to decide where she wants to head in the future. But to end the video on a happier note, there have been some comments that were very supportive of what Somi was doing. A user on Facebook commented, "Good on her for getting paid. Everyone has to live." Another one commented, "Her work is respectable. They're just mad that they can't control her life like when she was an idol. Any kind of work is worthy of respect. Most of the haters are simps or live with their parents while not doing anything at all. Dignity doesn't pay the bills, and she's not doing anything illegal." A lot of people in the comments section wish Somi well
well and encouraged her to keep on going. Kudos to Seungri for facing the backlash head-on and not letting any negative comments stop her from doing something she wants to do. While the life of a BG might seem fairly easy on the outside, the real truth can be much more terrifying. The New York Times made a documentary about the horrible experiences of what it's like to do this job in China. There are even agencies that recruit and train future live streamers. In the documentary, we meet a girl named Ji-he. She's expected to be a top-tier live streamer, which puts extremely high expectations on her. Not only that, but her income and the income of other live streamers can make or break the company they're under. Ji-he didn't have a day off for months, and she was made to live stream every single day to gain as much money as possible. The documentary shows how the streamers are even given classes about the lives of wealthy people so they can attract as many of them as they can. In that documentary, Ji-he was hosting a live stream while obviously not feeling her best, and instead of being comforted, she was scolded for going live when she was not in her best condition. The documentary shows what it's really like to be a streamer, and it's simply shocking. It seems like a never-ending cycle where there's no time for being a human.
And then there are those who were completely blacklisted, forced to disappear from the industry altogether. There have been plenty of K-pop idols who got blacklisted in Korea after their scandals. Some of them changed their lives completely, and some are still trying to find their way back into the industry. Let's begin with a group that was blacklisted not for any wrongdoing, but for political reasons. A few months before her impeachment in 2016, the government of the former South Korean president Park Geun-hye created a list of names of over 9,400 artists and celebrities that got banned from being promoted in Korea. Even though everyone was aware that the list existed, the names of the people affected by it were revealed 2 years later in May of 2018. The list was created to stop certain artists from getting government help. The group 24K were the only idol group to be included on the list, much to everyone's shock. According to the group members themselves, the blacklist might have happened because of their support towards Moon Jae-in's campaign in 2012. They were heavily involved in the campaign too, as they participated in one of the campaign songs with producer Kim Hyung-suk and in a campaign commercial. They didn't think much of it at the time, except that they were exercising their freedom of free speech. The fact that they were blacklisted in Korea forced them to promote their music in the West, and so far it's going pretty okay for them. The ban was lifted once Park Geun-hye was impeached, and ever since then, the group has gone through many lineup changes and even a rebrand. Let's hope that this is the last time we hear of a group being blacklisted because of their political opinions. It looks like Kim Jung-hoon of the male duo group UN has also realized that pursuing a career in Korea is useless, so he has resorted to promoting overseas. For all of you that aren't aware, Kim Jung-hoon had an issue with drunk driving in 2011, which led to the loss of his license. Back then, he had apologized, acknowledged that everything had been his fault, and vowed to never do it again. Well, he ended up doing the same thing in December of 2023 when he got in trouble with the police due to his refusal to take a breathalyzer test. This happened after he had crashed into another car as he was changing lanes. The accident caused the other driver to sustain minor injuries, which led to Jung-hoon being charged with causing injuries under the Special Act on the Settlement of Traffic Accidents. Because of how strict the public is about DUI scandals, Jung-hoon is very well aware that he can't continue his career in Korea, so he's holding fan meetings in Japan. He claims to be reflecting on his mistakes since many people support him, but who knows what he's really doing. Now, we can move on to all the idols that were blacklisted due to their bad relationship with SM Entertainment. These idols either filed lawsuits against the company or got kicked out of their groups, which led to them being blacklisted. Well, not officially, but the idols have said more than enough to imply that they had a hard time promoting in Korea. JYJ basically paved the way for artists suing SM. In July 2009, the three members of the group, Kim Jun-soo, Kim Jae-jung, and Park Yoo-chun, created a stir by filing a lawsuit against SM claiming unfair terms in their contracts. In October 2009, the trio got a temporary contract break, but the legal battle officially ended in November 2012 after both sides agreed to drop their lawsuits and not interfere with each other's career. Despite everything, SM allegedly still did their best to make it impossible for the members to have a career in the industry. But how is that going right now? After Jun-soo was discharged from the military, he kept busy by organizing fan signs, concerts, and even returned to the stage and took parts in musicals. He has also released 3 comebacks, started promoting under the name Shia, and founded his own agency, so we can say that he's been doing pretty well and that the ban has been lifted for him. Jae-jung has been having a harder time though. After being blacklisted, he turned his focus to acting, as he got roles in dramas like Dr. Jin and Triangle. However, he didn't appear much in entertainment shows on big TV channels due to the black blacklistment, so it was difficult for him to promote properly. From 2018, he focused on his Japanese audience as he released several albums, held a tour, and even won awards in Japan. He started slowly coming back to the entertainment scene of his home country as for the first time in 10 years, Jae-jung came back to Korean entertainment shows by being a panelist on the second season of Taste of Love in 2019. In 2020, he released his first Korean album in 4 years and has been busy since then. He also went back to appearing on MBC programs after 14 years of being absent and even started his own web series called J-Friends, in which he invites different idols and interviews them. He has also established his agency Encode, for which he received celebratory flowers from SM, and that was a pretty clear sign that their long-lasting beef has been squashed. As for Park Yoon-chun, well, we'll get to his messy situation in a second, but first let's look at a similar case to Jae-jung's. Super Junior's Han Gang got blacklisted for the same reason, but he has left the idol life completely behind as he's now active as an actor in China. The former EXO members Luhan, Tao, and Kris left the group in SM after filing a lawsuit against the company in an attempt to terminate their contracts, which led to them being unofficially blacklisted. Since then, Luhan has continued to release music, act in dramas and movies, and appear as a mentor in survival shows. Tao has gone the same path and has also opened his company L Tao Entertainment, as well as a restaurant and an architecture and design company. As for Kris, well, the only known thing at the moment is that he will spend more than 10 years in prison for various crimes that he was found guilty of. Now let's talk about Park Yoon-chun. He didn't even need to have problems with SM Entertainment because he got blacklisted due to his actions and his actions alone. In 2016 and 2017, he was accused of SA by 4 different women but was then cleared of the charges. In 2019, Yoon-chun was arrested for suspected substance use. He was also accused of trying to hide evidence by coloring and shaving his body hair before taking a substance test. The court found him guilty and he got a 10-month suspended prison sentence and a 1.4 million won fine, and this made him announce his early retirement, a promise he didn't end up keeping. 2 years later, in 2021, he had problems with 2 different companies, which led to him being banned from appearing on TV and continuing any activities in the entertainment industry by the Seoul Central District Court. In addition to all these, he was also accused of evading 490 million Korean won in taxes, so you can guess what his reputation is like in South Korea. However, this doesn't seem to have stopped him from trying to get money from his fans, at least the ones that are overseas. Since he's banned from appearing on TV or promoting in Korea, he's been holding fan meetings in Japan, which have been relatively successful. It's not all that surprising that even an idol with so many scandals is still holding fan meetings, but the prices for these events have been straight up offensive. It's reported that the prices for tickets ranged from about $154 for regular seats to a hefty sum of $335 for premium seating. Yoon-chun has also become a controversial topic after it was discovered that he's been promoting in Thailand, as he has seemingly fully taken advantage of his rumored girlfriend's status and reputation in the country. But it didn't last long, as his super rich girlfriend allegedly ditched him. Something tells us that this is not the last time that we hear about him. It looks like Seungri and Choi Jong-hoon, who were heavily involved in the Burning Sun scandal, are hoping for help from their fans outside of their home country to keep their careers going. In 2019, Jong-hoon got a 2-year and 6-month prison sentence for being part of a group that hurt a drunk woman and recorded it illegally. He finished his sentence and was released in November 2021. The fact that he's a literal convicted criminal hasn't stopped people from supporting him though, which is why he has started being more active in Japan, or at least he's been trying to. Jong-hoon has started his own channel called Hunia on Japan's Fanicon platform. In a message to his followers, he mentioned that since it's been 5 years since he last talked to fans, he wants to show them everything about him, from what he wants to do from now on to his personal life. Fanicon is an online platform where fans pay a $4 subscription fee to interact with their favorite celebrities, and to have someone like Jong-hoon join the platform has caused a lot of ruckus, with many thinking he shouldn't come back into the public eye after such a horrible scandal. Lastly, Seungri played a big role in the 2019 Burning Sun scandal, and once the investigation ended, he was facing 9 charges. In May 2022, the Supreme Court concluded he was guilty and gave him a 1 year and 6 months prison sentence. He served his time in military prison but was transferred to a regular one once the sentence was confirmed. Seungri got out in February last year and has been living life as if nothing happened. He was seen mingling with celebrities during the Formula One weekend in Singapore and spotted all over Southeast Asia, like at clubs in South Korea, dining in Kuala Lumpur, and having drinks with an Indonesian influencer in October 2023. He also recently organized a packed fan meeting in Cambodia as a celebration for his own birthday. As if he isn't disliked enough, he also mentioned that he would like to bring G-Dragon along to the country someday, which has driven netizens crazy. It's concerning how many celebrities are putting more attention on fans outside Korea to keep making money and avoid facing criticism from the Korean public. Back in 2022, fans were still wondering what really happened to April after everything that unfolded.
Ever since April's disbandment on January 22nd of this year, we haven't heard much from the members as they've decided to lay low and rebuild their image. So let's take a look at them one by one. Taekyung technically had nothing to do with the scandal, even though she was a member of April, and her name was dragged into the mess whether she was truly involved or not. She was a part of several groups before finally joining April in 2017. Because she wasn't a part of the group when Hyunju claims the mistreatment happened, she wasn't directly related to anything that happened, but as a member of April, her name will forever be tied to the scandal. Doesn't mean that she didn't try to dissociate herself from the group and the company though. When April disbanded in January of 2022, it seemed like Taekyung was also done with DSP Media. After having a long discussion with the label, she figured out that the best decision was to not extend her contract and that she wants to move forward in her career under the management of a new company. Since she had just made her debut as an actress before the scandal happened, it looks like she wants to go down that career path as she signed an exclusive contract with Management AM9 as an actress in April of 2022. Waiting to see what she has in store for us. Taewon, on the other hand, was a lot more involved in the scandal. She was in fact one of the most vocal members in April when the mistreatment accusations came out. Taewon was also one of the members that was particularly pointed out by Hyunju in her accusations. Hyunju alleged that Taewon mistreated her and had bad relationships with the rest of the members. The worst accusation was that Taewon was sleeping with the group's manager, so he would turn a blind eye to everything that Hyunju was claiming went on. Taewon denied all the accusations and began a long legal battle against Hyunju since she felt the police weren't doing enough. She first shared an extensive tell-all to fans in which she claimed that she considered Hyunju close but was put off by Hyunju's rude behavior and her tendency to skip on practice and group schedules. Fans found inconsistencies in her statement like dates that didn't match, but that didn't discourage Taewon. After all 7 lawsuits that were filed against Hyunju were dropped by the police, she requested a reinvestigation. This investigation didn't go anywhere as the police found it difficult to prove whether the claims made by both parties were true or not. Like all the members, she departed from DSP Media once her contract ended and signed with her new agency, Donghoon Entertainment, in July of 2022. She kicked off her activities under her new company with a fan meeting on July 24th called To April and is expected to resume activities as an idol sometime soon. Naeun was undoubtedly the most popular April member. Even though April was a fairly unpopular group, Naeun still got the public's attention due to her visuals and her acting jobs. She starred in some pretty popular dramas like 18 and Extraordinary You, which were enough to get people interested in her. At the time of April's scandal, she was a rising actress that was just starting to get casted in dramas left and right. The scandal did put a dent to her career, but that wasn't all of it. On top of getting accused by Hyunju for mistreatment, Naeun faced another accusation by an anonymous netizen who claimed that Naeun harassed them during elementary school. The anonymous netizen wrote a post on an online forum saying, "Due to what I went through in elementary school, I cried and made a fuss a lot of the time, so even now, my mom grits her teeth whenever she sees Naeun on TV." The accusations were quite serious, and mixed with Hyunju's claims and dating rumors between her and Ajax's Yoonyoung, it really seemed like her career was over. She lost more than 100,000 followers on her personal Instagram account and was fired from the drama Taxi Driver, which she was filming at the time. She played the role of Go-eun and had even filmed several episodes, but in the end, the production company revealed that they would replace Naeun with another actress because of what April was going through at the time, and all the scenes she had filmed up until that point would be refilmed. Her appearance in SBS's Delicious Rendezvous was also partially edited out. Thankfully, things turned around for her. The netizen who accused Naeun submitted a letter of apology after they admitted that they had lied about their experiences with Naeun, which turned the public's opinion around. After April officially disbanded, Naeun departed from DSP Media and signed with Namu Actors in June of 2022. Based on this decision, it seems like Naeun isn't interested in being an idol anymore and wants to pursue her acting career full-time. Just like Taewon, Yena was also pretty vocal when the whole thing was going on. She, along with Taewon, were among the first members to publicly speak out against Hyunju's accusations and deny them. She also came out with a long statement and said that April was the most precious thing for all the girls. She also said that the girls always took care of each other and tried their best to be there for each other, but called Hyunju out for pushing them away and said that she always painted herself as the victim. Yena even filed a lawsuit against Hyunju, but dropped it as soon as the news of April's disbandment hit the media. Yena said, "These events that I was accused of did not happen, but I just don't know how to prove to anyone that they did not happen. And after having learned that legal proceedings cannot help you prove your innocence, I have decided to withdraw my lawsuit." She also also claimed that her withdrawing the lawsuit was not an indication that the members were guilty. After the expiration of her contract, she signed with Starbase Management Group and wants to continue her career as an actress. She has already been cast in the musical K-School, which is supposed to premiere in the second half of this year. Rachel, like Taekyung, wasn't a member of April when the mistreatment allegedly took place, but that doesn't mean that the media and public kept Rachel's name out of it. She stayed silent during the time of the scandal, but then made a strange decision that only added fuel to the fire and made the public question the relationship between the current members. In April of 2021, she deleted all pictures of the April members from her Instagram account, except for a picture of all the members together that they had taken when they first made their debut. Rachel never revealed the reason why she did this, but people drew their speculations anyways. Some saw it as her extending her support to Hyunju in a way for her to express her unhappiness with the rest of April members and the way that they were handling the issue. These are just speculations though, and they were never confirmed by Rachel. She is also the only member that extended her contract with DSP Media and is currently listed as an actress in their website, but the label hasn't shared what they're planning to do with her career. Unlike her fellow members, Jinsol was pretty low-key during the scandal. When the accusations came out, she released a statement denying all the accusations and said that she and Hyunju didn't see each other all that much despite being in the same group. Jinsol said that the two were mostly pretty busy and only got to meet when the group had official schedules, but regardless of all of this, Jinsol claimed that she and Hyunju got along well. She also said that she had no malicious feelings towards Hyunju. Like almost everyone else in the group, Jinsol decided not to renew her contract with DSP Media and ended up parting ways with the company in April of 2022. After only 2 months, on June 28th, it was announced that she had signed an exclusive contract with Story and Plus. Since Jinsol was one of the most versatile idols when she was promoting with April, her new company plans to showcase her full set of skills and said that they would provide full support to extend her activities. And we can't wait to see it. Before the mistreatment scandal happened, DSP Media had announced that Hyunju had left the group because she wanted to focus on her acting career. In fact, before her brother came out with the accusations, she had completed various acting projects and was planning to do more. She could have probably starred in a movie or two if she wasn't dealing with 7 lawsuits by the April members and her former company. During the time the controversy was going on, she opened her very own YouTube channel in May of 2021 with the intention of sharing more about her private life with her fans and the public that had taken an interest in her. Her YouTube channel wasn't welcomed by fans and supporters of the April members, as her comments were flooded with hate and negativity. Hyunju made an attempt to return to the entertainment industry by making a special appearance on the web series Heartbeat Broadcasting Accident. This made the public think that Hyunju would focus on her acting career after the scandal settled down a bit and since she had the support of the general public, but it doesn't seem like that's happening anytime soon. Hyunju has expressed the desire to lead a normal life away from the eyes of the public. She's also the only member of April that hasn't signed with any company, so nobody knows what Hyunju's plans for the future are. If she eventually comes back to the industry, whether that be as an idol or actress, it doesn't look like that'll happen in the near future. Who knows though, maybe she'll surprise us all, but it seems like she likes leading a normal life a lot more than she likes the spotlight.
And by 2024, new details came out, painting an even clearer picture of how their story truly ended. April's harassment scandal, alongside those of T-ARA and AOA, became one of the most infamous in K-pop. But while many viewed Hyunju as the victim of this ordeal, new information and interviews have shifted public opinion, and it's not looking good. If you remember, the controversy started on February 28, 2021, when an online post emerged from someone claiming to be Hyunju's brother, alleging that her departure from April was due to severe mistreatment by other members rather than a desire to pursue acting. He mentioned that Hyunju had even attempted to take her own life due to the torment she experienced. Then, in April 2021, Hyunju took to Instagram to confirm the accusations, stating that DSP Media was blocking her from ending her contract. Over the following weeks, the other members in the agency denied the allegations and pursued lawsuits against her. Ultimately, the lawsuits were dropped due to insufficient evidence, and April disbanded. The controversy had mostly fizzled away over the years, but it flared up again 3 years later when member Na-eun appeared in a video with popular Korean YouTuber KwookTube. In the now removed video, the two were seen traveling around Europe. It was explained that they met up while she was in London and he was getting ready to head to France from there, so they decided to have dinner together. During their conversation, he shared that he had blocked Na-eun after the harassment scandal emerged because he had been a victim of a similar situation himself. He then mentioned that after reading her article where she denied the accusations, he unblocked her and personally apologized for being overly sensitive insensitive. The video caused a lot of problems for both KOOKTube and Na-eun. KOOKTube faced criticism for forgiving Na-eun over the situation, especially since he wasn't even a victim of her supposed tormenting. A netizen wrote, "I'm so disappointed in you, KOOKTube. It's not like you're the victim, so why are you forgiving her?" Some even went as far as to call him Hyunju's second perpetrator. After facing criticism, KOOKTube removed the video and apologized, admitting his oversight and promising to be more careful with future content. On the other hand, Na-eun got backlash for trying to rebuild her image through her appearance on the channel. The situation got so bad that a netizen even filed a complaint with the national petition system, alleging that KOOKTube breached the act on fair labeling and advertising. They claimed that Na-eun's agency, Namu Actors, had secretly arranged the trip with him to improve her image, turning their collaboration into an undisclosed contract under advertising rules. The complaint stressed that creators are required to reveal any financial sponsorships when promoting brands or products. So if KOOKTube had any financial ties with Na-eun, his channel could face legal issues for not disclosing it. Na-eun's agency denied the allegations, clarifying that no financial transaction took place and KOOKTube paid for all the travel expenses, with the trip being his idea. This didn't help settle things, especially since Hyunju faced backlash during the scandal despite not being involved. Her Instagram comments were filled with April fans accusing her of destroying the group and saying that she should go to jail for lying about her mistreatment. While many stood by Hyunju, netizens were puzzled by the hate she was receiving, especially since she had allegedly been Na-eun's victim and hadn't posted anything for months. Netizens also believe that KOOKTube's video wasn't the only attempt Na-eun made to regain public favor. On September 25th, Sports Kyunghyang released a report featuring statements from staff members of April concerning the claims made by Hyunju and her family against her fellow group members. The report included 5 statements from various personnel of DSP Media, such as a former manager and hairstylist. They claimed that it was actually Hyunju who harassed the other members, not the other way around. An employee of the company added that the harassment accusations were forced since there were no victims and no perpetrators. The former manager also went as far as to say that instead of being an offender, Na-eun was the innocent victim of a witch hunt. Another employee commented that this situation clearly indicated there was smoke without fire. What was agreed upon was that the members had problems with each other, but there was no harassment taking place, and if there were any problems in the group, Hyunju was the one who started them. It was also said that she was the main cause of the group's declining image and that her behavior made things more difficult for the staff. In their interview, one of the former hairstylists for the group gave their detailed thoughts on the scandal and Hyunju. When asked about April, the hairstylist described the members as kind and genuine and said that there weren't any major issues during the time they worked together. However, they said that Hyunju's name frequently came up when problems arose within the group, often related to her skipping practice. The hairstylist questioned why Hyunju caused so much trouble and constantly sought attention, noting that if her immaturity was the issue, maybe she shouldn't have pursued an idol career in the first place. They also firmly denied that any harassment took place, saying that the members just weren't close to each other. The hairstylist went on to describe Hyunju as someone who couldn't stand seeing staff interacting with any member besides herself. For instance, if the hairstylist spoke with other members or checked on them, Hyunju would interrupt and pressure the others to end the conversation. Additionally, they claimed that Hyunju once caused a music broadcast to be cancelled due to her not feeling well. They recalled crying and comforting the other members, who they claimed had sacrificed a lot to appear on that program. Despite the disappointment, it was claimed that the members never spoke badly of Hyunju. The interview shocked the public, to say the least. The hairstylist was flamed for saying that they scoffed at the mistreatment accusations and for claiming that the other members were mistreated instead of Hyunju. However, by far, the worst part of the interview was when the hairstylist complained about Hyunju not showing up for a music broadcast and how it was a hard time for them. They portrayed Hyunju's situation as if she had a cold or a headache, but the truth was she was in the hospital after attempting to end her life. A commenter wrote, "So Hyunju is always unwell and your first thought is that she's causing trouble? That says enough about who the real harasser is." Some people were even troubled by the hairstylist's comments about Hyunju. They were mostly taken aback that the stylist noticed the 5 members constantly targeting Hyunju, yet chose to support them instead of intervening or remaining neutral. There was also a separate interview with an acquaintance of the 5 members who contradicted nearly all the allegations made by Hyunju and her brother. The acquaintance explained their willingness to do the interview by saying they felt scared during the controversy in 2021 because the members were so young. They recalled hearing one member say, "It feels like we have to get hurt for this to stop," which made the acquaintance genuinely worry about the members' safety. Regarding the question of whether there was any harassment within the group, they stated that it would be an exaggeration to label it as such. They acknowledged that there might have been shared struggles, but no one was a victim or a perpetrator. According to them, in idol groups, not all members will get along or like each other, and when it comes to April, apparently, some members had strong bonds while while others didn't. They said, "The conflict reflects the interpersonal relationships within an idol group as they leave home as teenagers, live in a dormitory, and begin their social life, as well as the conflicts that arise as a result." There were also claims that conflicts between the members were actually rooted in DSP Media's favoritism toward Hyunju. The interviewee explained that this bias was partly due to the belief that members should not be sick. They went on to say that during their preparation for their debut, some members of April faced real physical challenges, while others struggled mentally due to anxiety. They also alleged that the other members adhered to the rules, but frequent absences from Hyunju during bonding time led to an imbalance. The acquaintance also talked about Na-eun's recent controversy related to KOOKTube. They said that the backlash against Na-eun was way too harsh, and it made them fear for her safety. They were also deeply frustrated by claims that Na-eun was flirting with KOOKTube to help her come back, as the interaction was being misrepresented in hurtful ways. They then went on to describe Na-eun as a caring person who used to wipe food off her older members' faces and even help with their boogers. The acquaintance said that observing this situation made them seriously question if people genuinely wanted to know the truth or whether they just wanted to witch hunt someone. At the end of the interview, they also recalled a chance encounter with Na-eun during a break when Na-eun mentioned that she had grown terrified to speak in front of a camera. They just couldn't understand why Na-eun faced such severe criticism, pointing out that she hadn't done anything wrong nor committed any crime. Despite the fact that the members' acquaintance did their best to clear their names, the public didn't really like the interview or appreciate it. There were also accusations of media play, with a commenter saying, "Can they cut it down with the media play already? They just want to keep on tormenting the victim. All you perpetrators, go away." Another said that it was disturbing how the person invalidated Hyunju's experience with the members just because they didn't experience the same thing. A lot of commenters speculated that Na-eun's agency was orchestrating this situation and would keep releasing articles and interviews to reshape the narrative and influence public opinion about the events. Even if they have plans to do this, it likely won't succeed since the public already believes that the other April members harassed Hyunju to the point of self-harm and see them as the perpetrators. In reality, efforts to improve the members' images, especially Na-eun's, are backfiring and making them appear even worse. As a result, netizens are advising them to stay silent and avoid drawing more attention before things escalate. Then came 2025, and with it, Garam's story resurfaced. Since leaving Le Sserafim, Kim Garam has mostly stayed out of the spotlight. But now, in May 2025, it looks like she might be making a return. Let's dive into the latest updates on her life and see what she has planned for her big comeback. Before Kim Garam could even debut with Le Sserafim, her career was already in jeopardy. On April 5th, 2022, the same day she was announced as a member, accusations about her past started flooding the internet. While it's not rare for idols to face online allegations, Garam's situation stood out because the backlash started before she'd even performed a single stage. That very day, someone posted a lengthy message online claiming Garam had mistreated classmates in school. The post went viral and the rumors quickly snowballed. From accusing her of being a tormentor of her peers, people were also suddenly claiming she had once been a trainee at Starship Entertainment and had been kicked out for leaking confidential information. It all sounded dramatic, and the accusations that were being made had no proof to back them up, but at the time, many took it seriously. Hybe pushed back, saying Garam was the actual victim, not the tormentor, warning that they would take legal action against those spreading false claims, but their statement only sparked more questions. People were wondering why the company was bothering to go to such lengths for someone who hadn't even debuted yet and who had such serious accusations stacked against her. That skepticism led to even more rumors, this time about Garam's family, money, and connections. Things escalated fast from then on. Friends of Garam were accused of threatening the original poster. Others stepped forward saying she had made inappropriate comments about BTS's Taehyung, had insulted IVE and her former bandmate Sakura, and shared old photos of her posing near explicit drawings on a classroom board. Although Hybe stood firm in her defense and acted as if nothing was wrong, fans weren't buying it. During public appearances, it was obvious people were showing support to the other members while keeping quiet whenever Garam was around. But things hit a turning point when a legal firm, Daeryun, released a public statement on behalf of someone claiming to be Garam's victim. The firm detailed specific incidents of harassment and said they had sent evidence to Hybe, who reportedly ignored it. According to the firm, the victim, named Yoo Eun-so, had even harmed herself because of Garam's behavior. The news was explosive and quickly shifted public opinion, and people began demanding Garam be removed from the group. Even then, Hybe continued to deny the claims, but quietly placed Garam on indefinite hiatus while the remaining 5 Le Sserafim members moved forward without her. The hiatus only fueled suspicions that the company was trying to wait out the backlash in hopes of quietly reintegrating her later. But on July 20th, just over 3 months after it all started, Hybe announced they had officially officially ended Garam's contract and apologized to fans for the mess. After leaving LE SSERAFIM, many still wanted to hear Garam's version of the story. She had stayed quiet for nearly 2 months, but eventually responded, which wasn't surprising considering the serious accusations that were made against her. In a personal statement, Garam denied ever mistreating anyone. She admitted she wasn't perfect and had made mistakes like any other student, but said she never crossed the line into harming others. She thanked the fans who had stuck by her and said she wanted to grow from the experience. Unlike HYBE, Garam provided a document from her school's disciplinary committee to support her claims. It confirmed there had been a dispute with Yoo Eun-so, but Garam explained it happened after Eun-so posted inappropriate content online and she had simply been defending a friend. Some people felt her side of the story made sense and that her reaction, though harsh, may have come from good intentions. Others weren't as convinced and felt both girls shared responsibility. HYBE declined to comment, saying they no longer represented her. Garam mostly kept a low profile after that, though her fans continued to cheer her on. For her birthday on November 16th of 2022, supporters even ran an ad in Gangnam that played over 100 times throughout the day. She acknowledged it by posting a simple thanks on her friend's Instagram along with a picture in front of the ad. Even though she didn't show her full face, it was enough to make her fans happy. Later that same month, a new post started gaining attention online titled "Former LE SSERAFIM member Kim Garam's recent whereabouts." It included photos of her in a school uniform hanging out with friends. Although she wore a mask, fans recognized her instantly. Then in May 2023, a new update came, not from her but from a TV program. The show Free Doctor aired a segment about celebrities whose past school behavior had caught up with them after fame. In it, they confirmed that Garam had gone back to school and was now focusing on acting. While she hadn't returned to the entertainment scene, the update gave fans hope that she might try again, but this time as an actress. Turns out, Garam had enrolled at the School of Performing Arts Seoul, better known as SOPA, and completed her studies there in May 2023, majoring in acting. As is common for art schools, SOPA shared the names of standout students who got accepted into top university programs, and Garam made that list. She was one of only 7 students from SOPA's acting department who passed the first round of entrance exams for Dongguk University's elite acting program. Although the announcement only included part of her name, fans immediately recognized her. And it was a pretty big deal since Dongguk receives over 2,000 applicants each year but only accepts 30 students. Getting in is no easy feat, and the fact that Garam made it this far shows just how serious she is about acting. Garam stayed quiet, but small updates about her life started surfacing, this time through school-related moments. In early 2024, her high school graduation photos made the rounds online, and many people took notice of how stunning she looked. Not long after, there were rumors that she might attend her graduation ceremony in person, but in the end, she didn't show up. Then in March, something more concrete came out. Konkuk University released a welcome post for new students in its acting department, showing a collage of headshots, and one familiar face stood out. For those of you who don't know, Konkuk University is especially known for its veterinary and arts programs. Its alumni include a long list of famous names, from actors like Lee Jong-suk, Hyeri, and Bae-duna to K-pop idols like BTS Jin, Twice as Nayeon, and Chinese Minho. Among the 21st class of admitted students, Garam was clearly visible, wearing a black coat and sunglasses, posing casually for the camera, which showed fans that she was successfully moving on after a pretty traumatizing period of her life. In mid-May 2025, Garam quietly popped back into the public eye, and not through an official appearance or interview, but through Instagram. People stumbled across an account with no profile picture under the handle Garam Only. The name listed was Kim Garam, and the post included a few never-before-seen photos that strongly suggested it was really her. Despite the low-key nature of the account, it exploded overnight. Within a day, she'd already gained over 250,000 followers, and by May 22nd, she was approaching 1 million. International fans especially seemed thrilled. Some were celebrating her return to social media, leaving comments like, "In just 4 hours, you surpassed 100,000 followers. Oh, Garam, you're so loved," and "Can't wait for actress Garam debut." Some people were genuinely relieved to see Garam reappear, feeling glad that everything she went through hadn't completely pushed her out of the spotlight. But not everyone saw it that way. A lot of Korean netizens were still upset because to them, what happened in the past wasn't something that should just be brushed aside, and they didn't understand why anyone was defending her. Many still saw her as someone who had hurt her peers and felt her return to the public space was undeserved. Others were just confused by the attention she was getting. From their point of view, she was only active in the idol world for a few weeks, which to them was barely enough time to leave a mark. They argued that unless she officially returns as a singer or actress, she's just a private citizen now, with one Twitter user writing, "The chokehold Garam has on some of y'all is so odd to me, man. That is a regular citizen of South Korea." Garam's Instagram suddenly picked up even more buzz when a familiar name popped up in her comment section. Daniel, a former former Island contestant who made it to the finale but didn't debut, left a simple hi with a heart emoji under one of her recent posts. Since the two had never been seen together before, the interaction caught a lot of people off guard, and it ended up sparking a whole wave of reactions. Some saw it as a clout-chasing move, accusing Daniel of trying to ride the wave of Garam's viral return, but others pushed back against that narrative. They pointed out that the two might have known each other long before their fame, possibly even trained together. Now that they're no longer tied down by company rules, a public comment isn't that strange. After all, it was just a greeting, which is why some people felt the whole thing was blown way out of proportion. Not long after Garam's sudden online return grabbed everyone's attention, fans started connecting the dots elsewhere too. Le Sserafim's Eunchae posted something on her Instagram story that sparked more speculation, which was a photo of some green grapes followed by 5 rose emojis and a white heart. It didn't say anything outright, but longtime fans didn't see it as random. They believed the grapes might symbolize Sour Grapes, a B-side track from Le Sserafim's debut that many associated with Garam, especially after her standout performance in it. As for the emojis, fans thought they could represent the 5 current members and Garam, quietly included with the heart. Though nothing was confirmed, some people took it as a quiet sign that Eunchae and Garam might still be on good terms. Back when they were in the group, the two were often seen together and looked genuinely close. Eunchae had even once mentioned that a song featuring all 6 members was one of her favorites. Of course, if the current members are restricted from mentioning Garam publicly due to how messy her departure was, that wouldn't be surprising. Still, for fans who followed the group since its debut, this small moment was enough to make them believe that the bond between them might still be there, just not something they're allowed to show openly. Now that Garam has reappeared online, a big question is floating around. Is she planning a return to the entertainment world too? While she hasn't said anything directly, a lot of things are hinting that she might be gearing up for a comeback, just not as an idol this time. For starters, she's been studying acting, and the fact that she got accepted into a top university for it suggests she's got real potential. Around the time her Instagram account went public, people noticed it was now trackable on platforms like Social Blade, something that only happens if you switch to a professional account. Not long after, fans also realized her account category had been changed to actor. Then came another clue. Masahiko Komatsuzaki, the creative director behind XG's visuals, followed her and liked one of her posts. That small gesture got people talking. It might not seem like much, but to fans, it looked like the pieces of something bigger starting to form. Although she hasn't posted anything new as of May 22nd, many believe she's testing the waters before officially launching her acting career. One theory is that she might first appear in a music video. That would be a low-risk way to reintroduce herself, just enough visibility to gauge public response without diving in headfirst. If the feedback is positive and she's backed by a company, it could be the first step to something bigger. But for now, everyone's watching and waiting to see what she does next. So what's your take? Is Garam really gearing up for a big return to the entertainment industry, or are fans reading too much into the little things? While Garam's 2025 story showed how hard it is for idols to rebuild their image, T-ARA's 2024 update proved that time can sometimes change everything. The members of T-ARA have still been hanging on after all these years, and there's been quite a lot of development in their personal lives since their official disbandment in 2017. T-ARA decided to surprise everyone when they reunited in 2021 for their 12th anniversary and released a single, and their recent 15th anniversary fan meeting has only strengthened their connection to fans further. Although the mistreatment controversy still seems to haunt the narrative for some of the members, their perseverance has allowed them to continue thriving in their respective fields without any issue. T-ARA's Hyomin is one of the members who has really chosen to do her own thing after the band's disbandment, and it looks like she has been nothing but successful in her endeavors. Being a solo artist has been her main focus over the years. However, Hyomin has also been very active on her social media and has had great success as an influencer. Through this, she's been able to expand on her modeling skills as well as her personal business as she launched her very first clothing brand Say No More in 2021, even scoring a collaboration with Wonderwall, which is something that really showed how successful she has become. Fellow T-ARA member Jiyoon even congratulated her on her new business alongside Girls' Day Mina, which really brought fans back to the good old days. Just last year, Hyomin decided to expand her horizons even further by joining a new agency, And Mark, which has promised to support Hyomin through all her different talents and blossom her career. Likewise, Eunjung continues to maintain an impressive career in both the entertainment industry and as an actress. She has signed an exclusive contract with Mask Studio and is seemingly set on expanding her horizons seasons in the Korean film industry. Most recently, Eunjung starred in the drama A Profitable Cage as Dr. Jin Soo-ji. Beyond proclaimed K-dramas, she is also exploring digital media, appearing in a horror web series titled T-ARA, which has greatly expanded her acting experience into other genres. Outside of her solo projects, Eunjung has also expressed that she is extremely on board with any T-ARA reunion. During a recent interview, she discussed the opportunity to reunite with her bandmates and thanked fans for their enduring support, especially after the fan meeting. She said, "It's nice to keep doing it. It was a good event, but it got bigger and it was so nice. Since this happens, I wonder if T-ARA will continue to do well next year." However, one thing she pointed out was the fact that T-ARA doesn't have a company as of now, so everything has to be organized by the members themselves, which is why it can be hard and time-consuming to start up any group project. One of the first members to completely step away from T-ARA when everything first ended was Soyeon, who walked away after their contract expired in 2017. However, she actually revealed that this had brought her great sadness. It was a very complicated process for her, as things didn't necessarily go the way she had wished for them to go, but it was the right thing to do at the time based on her situation. However, despite the devastation, Soyeon was also very grateful to be able to take a break after a decade of non-stop work. She also revealed that this was probably the main reason why it took her almost 4 years to start her solo career. She shared in an interview that it had also felt wrong to start a solo career right after the T-ARA contract had ended, as the other members were still wrapping up group activities, and to her, it felt disrespectful to start promoting herself at the time. But her career hasn't been the only thing that's kept Soyeon occupied over the years, as she and soccer player Cho Yoo-min tied the knot back in 2022. The two have seemingly started a very ordinary life together, with Soyeon even making the decision to step back from the entertainment industry since getting married. In fact, this led to quite some controversy when another T-ARA member, Jiyeon, had her own wedding. Fans were shocked to see that Soyeon hadn't shown up to the wedding in 2022, especially since the rest of T-ARA had shown up to support their longtime friend. However, according to Soyeon's agency, Think Entertainment, she had simply been unreachable after getting married. A statement from them said, "Soyeon is currently living in Jeju-do with her husband. We aren't able to reach her at this time. Soyeon has minimized her communication with the entertainment industry, and thus, we aren't privy to what her intentions are." When it comes to Jiyeon, she has done her best to establish herself as a solo artist and actress, gaining a lot of recognition for her roles in Korean dramas in recent years. However, things in her marriage took a turn when rumors started spreading in June 2024 that she had divorced her husband, baseball player Hwang Jae-gyun, who she had married 2 years prior. The rumors only ended up escalating when Jae-gyun was spotted late at night, allegedly in the company of another woman. It was said that nothing had happened between them, but many started suspecting that he had actually cheated on Jiyeon. While the divorce wasn't officially confirmed at first, things were cleared up this past October as both parties publicly emphasized that their breakup was indeed real and that it was a mutual decision. According to the couple, the reason for the split was irreconcilable differences. Fans were shocked, especially considering their high-profile wedding and frequent displays of affection early in their relationship. Jiyeon has since returned to the spotlight, most recently participating in T-ARA's 15th anniversary events and reconnecting with fans. On social media, she decided to distance herself from what had been going on in her life in recent years, as she completely removed any posts featuring her ex-husband, signaling a fresh start. After the group's disbandment, T-ARA member Kyuri has been focusing on acting as well as some solo music projects here and there. Most recently, she also participated in the T-ARA reunion. However, things took a turn for the worse when she was unexpectedly thrown into the spotlight again after the group's mistreatment issues resurfaced, pulling her back into the controversy. She recently made headlines with a cryptic social media post indirectly addressing the resurfaced accusations that had been made against her and the rest of the group involving former member Hwayong. The scandal in question significantly impacted their careers, as ex-member Hwayong accused the rest of the girls of mistreating her in the group, despite later revelations that cast doubt on Hwayong's claims. In 2012, T-ARA was at the height of its fame when rumors began circulating about internal conflicts within the group. The issue gained attention when Hwayong, who joined T-ARA later in their career, made mistreatment accusations against the rest of the girls. Unfortunately, members like Kyuri had only fanned the fire at the time by posting cryptic tweets which fans interpreted to be targeting and tormenting Hwayong. In addition to that, Hwayong left the group during the fallout, leaving everything unresolved for years. However, years later, more details began to emerge that painted a different picture of what had actually happened in the group. Former staff members and other insiders came forward, claiming that Hwayong and her twin sister Hyoyoung might have exaggerated their victimhood and that they were actually the ones who had tormented the others. But despite this, Hwayong maintained her stance, claiming she had indeed been mistreated. Kyuri stayed relatively quiet during the initial scandal, but most recently, she subtly addressed the issue through social media as things things suddenly got complicated again. This past November, T-ARA's former CEO decided to bring the situation up again as he explained that he was dumbfounded by how T-ARA's reputation had suffered following Hwayoung's false accusations. Seeing this, Hwayoung decided to break her silence as well, releasing a lengthy Instagram post where she went into the details once again, further claiming that she had indeed been mistreated by the other members. In her message, she shared that both her and her sister had wished for nothing more than an apology, but after seeing that it's not possible, all she wants is to forget about what had happened. Fans were then shocked to see that Q-Ray stepped forward with a cryptic message which supposedly addressed Hwayoung for the first time since the scandal erupted. Q-Ray simply posted a photo of a crescent moon to her Instagram, which quickly had fans flooding her comments in support of her. Many believe that this was Q-Ray's subtle attempt of speaking on the issue that has plagued the group for so many years. After leaving the group in 2013, Leah Rome, who has had a relatively low-profile career. She initially announced her departure to focus on solo music projects, but has since had a hard time getting established in the industry. After parting ways with T-ARA, Arum tried her best to succeed in a solo career, but things haven't gone all that well for her. She even appeared on the Korean reality show The Unit Idol Rebooting Project, where she aimed to relaunch her career. Her participation on the show gave fans insight into her personal struggles and dreams for the future. However, she unfortunately didn't make it far in the competition. Arum spent years attempting to establish her career, but it appears her journey has only grown more complicated over time. Most recently, it seems like she must have gone through something distressing, as she was even hospitalized this past April following an attempt on her life. Fans were distraught to hear that things had gotten that bad for her, especially after learning that she had even left a letter on March 27th attempting to say goodbye. Fortunately, she was found and rushed to the hospital before it was too late. Afterwards, she took to Instagram to apologize to fans, saying, "I remembered my loved ones, children, family, and friends. I desperately wanted to live after realizing I might never see them again, so I held on and regained consciousness." Unfortunately, things only got worse from there, as she and her former boyfriend were even accused of fraud. According to 3 alleged victims, the two had borrowed about $26,000 from them without ever paying back the money, something which many were incredibly shocked to hear, as scandals seemed to just keep following Arum. Even though Arum claimed that she was actually coerced into swindling her followers, she still was faced with charges of fraud, as the 3 alleged victims went to the police about it. If that wasn't shocking enough, she was also recently involved in another scandal concerning her children, as she was accused of neglecting and harming her children by her ex-husband. She and her ex, whom she married in 2019, have 2 sons together, and things have been more than tense between them, with some pretty serious accusations flying around by both of them. On November 4th, Arum announced another pregnancy with her now boyfriend, who she also has another child with, which has further concerned fans considering the long-standing accusations made by her ex-husband. After she revealed her 4th pregnancy, fans flooded her social media, with many speculating it might be too soon for another pregnancy and fueling rumors of a possible miscarriage. Arum has since tried to calm the situation on Instagram, doing her best to assure everyone that she is a good mother who loves her children, even posting a photo of her newborn and saying, "My maternal instinct is extremely strong. I'm always at a loss for words when I see speculative articles about my children." She also spoke of Hwayoung's recent statements. In a long caption of a now-deleted post, Arum explained that while Hwayoung supported her early on, things changed after the injury incident and tensions among the members. Arum described feeling isolated, with no one to rely on, and said those days were unbearable for someone so young. She clarified she wasn't causing trouble and acknowledged that Hwayoung had apologized for the misunderstanding. Arum empathized with Hwayoung's actions, saying she'd have done the same for a younger sister. However, she admitted her time in the group left emotional scars and expressed her hope for a peaceful, normal life. Just a year earlier, in 2023, the world was shocked by updates from Kris Wu's life behind bars. Before his conviction, Kris Wu's popularity soared to new heights, and it seemed like nothing could stop him. During this time, he made a big impact by releasing his highly successful Antares album, which had 7 songs that managed to reach the top 10 spots on the American iTunes chart. Kris Wu wasn't just a pop star to these people. He was a charismatic figure with a dedicated fan base who would do anything for him. He didn't limit himself to music. He also took on acting roles, which solidified his celebrity status. Kris Wu's remarkable success in China served as a launching pad for his entry into Hollywood. In 2017, he secured a significant role alongside Vin Diesel in a XXX movie, making his debut in American cinema. He appeared to be incredibly wealthy, owning 21 luxurious cars and luxury homes in Vancouver, Los Angeles, and Shanghai. However, beneath this glamorous exterior, Kris used his fame, looks, and status to manipulate young women and harm them. He managed to evade exposure for years years and kept an innocent, humble image to the public and to his fans. Well, that was until a series of social media allegations ultimately brought him down. On July 8th of 2021, Du Meiju, a 19-year-old Chinese aspiring actress, made a Weibo post where she accused Kris Wu of harming her and several other women, including minors. The number of alleged victims changed from 30 to 24 and eventually settled at 8 in her later posts. Kris ended up refuting all the allegations, but he faced consequences such as losing sponsorships and having his music and social media accounts removed from Chinese platforms. In November of 2022, Kris was convicted for his crimes by the court. He received a prison sentence of 1 year and 10 months for it, and an additional 11 years and 6 months for a different offense, which involved the harming of 3 intoxicated women at his home between November and December 2020. The court also determined that he would be deported from China, but this would probably happen after he completed his prison term, as reported by Reuters. Once his sentence was announced, Meiju posted on her Weibo, "Finally, the day I've been waiting for. Though it is late, justice has been served." She went on to depict herself as an ordinary person who has shown a bit more courage. But how have things been ever since his conviction? Well, it's been a mess. There were some suspicions that Du Meiju had lied about her accusations. There have been alleged leaked voice recordings in which Du Meiju is heard admitting to faking her accusations in order to blackmail Kris. In one clip, she says that Kris didn't have any relations with underage females and claims that they didn't possess any concrete evidence, just something to scare him. There were also rumors that suggested that Meiju made up these accusations with the intention of extorting 8 million yuan from Kris. Reports indicated that the individuals behind the leaking of these recordings were once very close to Du Meiju, but turned against her when they realized that they were merely being manipulated. The situation got worse for Du though, as accusations started spouting out of nowhere. In February of 2023, it was reported that Kris had appealed for a second trial. This time, he had allegedly found a witness who was willing to testify against Du, namely a Chinese influencer, Lian. The thing is that Lian claimed to have been a close friend of Du and said that she wanted to testify in court as a witness to confront Du for her alleged lies. In a detailed Weibo post, she claimed that Du had falsely accused Kris to get some money, but she also criticized Du for exploiting other sympathy to hide her own wrongdoings. Lian went on to state that Du had victimized herself by using a fake ID to appear underage, and once she got some money, she had plastic surgery. Lian mentioned that Du used post-surgery photos to present herself as a pitiable individual who had undergone treatment. According to Lian, Du consistently adopted an innocent girl persona to enhance the credibility of her accusations. Lian pointed out that after Meiju and Kris had Meiju had proudly announced to her best friend Liu Mei Li that she was dating Kris Wu the very next day. However, 6 months later, Du changed her story and instead claimed that everything had happened without her consent. This made Lian wonder why, on the day she went out with Kris Wu, Du didn't leave with her friends who had allegedly tried to pull her away from the situation. Instead, Lian said that Du went into Kris's room and pretended to be drunk. Lian also questioned why Meiju initially sought her help for revenge against someone she didn't like. In conclusion, Lian stated that she has decided to testify in court not only for her own sake, but also for the benefit of society. She also emphasized her desire to prevent alleged liars like Du from exploiting the internet and making such accusations for a shot at quick fame. She insisted that Kris should be held accountable for his actions, but said that Du should also hold responsibility for making such serious false accusations. However, considering the history between the two, her claims did not hold a lot of weight. It's actually important to note that when Du made her accusations against Kris, Lian, who was still friends with her at the time, openly supported her best friend on Weibo. But when their friendship soured, Lian started saying that Du was not a trustworthy person. So was she telling the truth, or was she just testifying to get back at Du for some reason or another? Around the same time, Du Meiju was cast as the lead in the web drama Young Female Genius Detective, which drew a lot of backlash. An entertainment account had confirmed that Du would be appearing alongside Chinese actor Li Ten, and the news was then shared by other Weibo accounts. This news appeared to confirm the speculations that sprouted back in 2022 that Du had been planning to pursue a career in the entertainment industry as she had lost weight, taken dance classes, and did corrective dental surgery. However, the news brought in accusations that she was using the case against Kris Wu to gain fame, with one user bringing up Du's own words when she had claimed that she just wanted to be a normal person and didn't want to be affiliated with showbiz. While she still had overwhelming support, this update made a lot of people look at her differently, even wondering if she had been lying about some things to gain sympathy from the public. Then, in July of 2023, various international media outlets disclosed that Kris Wu was back in Beijing Beijing court to contest his previous conviction, indicating his intention to challenge the court's decision. Reports suggest that the trial took place in a single day to maintain privacy and protect the victims from public exposure. The verdict for the appeal is expected to be disclosed later, but either way, it doesn't seem like Kris is doing all that bad behind bars. According to an October 26 QQ report, Kris Wu recently crossed paths with a cousin who had a short stay in jail due to intoxication. During this period, Kris Wu's cousin allegedly had the chance to reunite with him and later shared insights into Kris's life behind bars. His cousin went on to disclose that Kris shared a prison cell with several other inmates with communal bathroom and toilet facilities. He apparently didn't receive any special treatment even though he used to be an idol and occasionally met with an attorney to discuss the progress of his appeal case. However, it said that he's allowed to maintain long hair and is not obligated to shave his head. On ordinary days, Kris was allegedly tasked with sewing work and sometimes taking part in basketball games with fellow inmates. Other sources spoke of Kris's time in prison, revealing that he started his day at 8 a.m. and participated in group activities once he finished breakfast. These activities entailed crafting handmade items using sewing machines and lasted until 5 p.m. with a lunch break. Kris also actively engaged in personal pursuits, including composing music and taking part in cultural performances, which might help him accumulate credits that could lead to early release or parole. Nonetheless, an authority clarified that a reduction in the sentence is unattainable without acknowledging the crimes and expressing remorse, which, as you know, hasn't happened yet. As for Do Meiju, her whereabouts are unknown to this day. There hasn't been any official update on what she's been doing, except for reports that she was suing people, which emerged back in July. When Do came out with her story, online users expressed their support, praising her bravery, and at the same time, defended her against Kris's fans. However, this support seemingly backfired as in 2021, Wu Juan, the head of an advertising agency in Shanghai, was slapped with a lawsuit from Do. It was alleged that Do demanded 15,000 yuan for using 2 photos of Do in one of her posts. According to legal documents reviewed by media outlet Six Tone, Do's lawyer argued that Do's image now had gained significant commercial value. The lawyer accused Wu Juan of using Do's image without permission to drive traffic to Wu's social media and business. The lawsuit demanded that Wu Juan remove the contested post and issue a month-long public apology to Do on her WeChat account. Wu Juan said to have been surprised at being served with the lawsuit and even found out that more than 60 individuals and companies claimed to have been sued by Do, with some settling out of court, which made their cases not appear in China's legal records. People have been criticizing Do for this move, but the reports haven't been confirmed, nor did they come from a reliable source. The case is obviously far from done, even though we haven't had any updates from the court yet. The verdict of the appeal has yet to be announced, so stay tuned for more news on the case. And while Kris Wu's story made headlines in 2023, Seungri's fate 5 years after Burning Sun raised just as many questions. Lee Sung-hyun, better known by his stage name Seungri, is a figure many remember due to a scandal that shook the K-pop world. His involvement in the Burning Sun controversy brought massive media attention and public opinion. But now, 5 years later, the question on everyone's mind remains where Seungri is today and what has he been doing since then. For those who may not be familiar with the full details, on March 11th, 2019, Seungri made the decision to leave Big Bang and retire from the entertainment industry following serious allegations tied to his business ventures. He was accused of providing workers for investors in exchange for favors, including inappropriate acts, which led to charges of bribery and embezzlement. These accusations were linked to the infamous Burning Sun scandal, a case that involved alleged mistreatment of a male clubgoer at the Burning Sun, a prominent nightclub in Gangnam, by a staff member. Upon further investigation, the scandal soon turned to one concerning the club's alleged involvement in a series of shocking crimes, including soliciting police corruption, embezzlement, and other serious offenses. It sent shockwaves through the public, resulting in Seungri's rapid fall from grace. The military trial against Seungri began on September 16, 2020, while he was serving his mandatory military service in South Korea. Throughout the trial, Seungri denied 7 of the 8 charges leveled against him. However, the military court ultimately found him guilty on all charges. He was initially sentenced to 3 years in prison and ordered to pay a hefty fine, though his sentence was later reduced to 18 months after Seungri expressed remorse, pleading guilty to all the charges brought against him and publicly stated that he would reflect on his actions. On February 9, 2023, Seungri was released from prison after serving a reduced 18-month sentence for criminal charges related to his involvement in the notorious Burning Sun scandal. Given the gravity of the situation, one would expect him to lay low and avoid public attention for a while. However, Seungri clearly chose a different path, not remaining silent in the aftermath of the controversy. Soon after his release, multiple reports of Seungri engaging in questionable behavior and social interactions began to emerge. Let's begin with him casually drinking with friends as if nothing had ever happened. Just Just 2 months later, in April 2023, Seungri was spotted having drinks with a group of people seemingly unaffected by the past events. A video posted on social media showed Seungri performing a soju bottle whirlpool trick with a broad smile on his face. In the clip, Seungri, dressed in a black t-shirt and sunglasses, can be seen enthusiastically exclaiming, "This is a Korean tradition," as he taps the bottom of the soju bottle with his elbow and flicks the neck with his fingers after opening it. The video, along with several photos, was shared on Instagram as the footage was captured during a trip to Korea by none other than Kris Taeil, a popular influencer with 220,000 followers, who is reportedly the daughter of Indonesian billionaire Dato Sri Taeil, founder of the Mayapada Group, Indonesia's 5th largest conglomerate. Without a doubt, Grace's story sparked a lot of mixed reactions from online users and some Korean media outlets. Many Koreans, especially those who still held negative views of Seungri because of his criminal history, didn't change their opinions. One comment even said, "Watching him makes my blood boil." However, when the backlash grew, Grace took to Instagram to respond to the concerns she was getting in her DMs. She reassured her followers that Seungri seemed to be in good physical and mental health and was friendly, easily chatting with everyone. Grace also cleared up any confusion about his alcohol consumption, saying he had only drunk a little and wasn't intoxicated, and explained that Seungri was just showing her the soju whirlpool trick as she had asked, denying any claims of inappropriate behavior. Seungri found himself in the spotlight once again when BBC's Burning Sun Exposing the Secret K-pop Chat Group's documentary was released on May 19th. Just a few days later, he made another public appearance, this time at a private birthday concert in Malaysia. A 1-minute video from the event quickly made its way across social media, showing Seungri performing Bang Bang Bang, one of his former group's biggest hits. In the footage, he appeared to be in high spirits, entertaining the crowd at the birthday celebration held at a Chinese restaurant. Seungri was seen pulling guests onto the stage, with attendees enthusiastically cheering him on as he performed. This public appearance again sparked an uproar online, with many netizens expressing their anger at his apparent disregard for his past actions. The fact that he seemed to be living the perks of his former idol life without any visible signs of remorse upset many. "It's sad some of these people attending the event don't even know what he has done," one top comment read, while others argued that he should never have been released from jail in the first place. Shedding some light on Seungri's recent professional activities, it was reported that an event management company, TSV Management, announced a Burning Sun-themed event to be held in Indonesia, with Seungri invited as a special guest. This raised significant concerns as the name Burning Sun refers to a nightclub that Seungri was connected to and which became the focal point of the infamous 2019 crime scandal. Following this announcement, speculation about Seungri's involvement in the event started to circulate. TSV Management even posted a promotional flyer on social media featuring Seungri's image, which further fueled rumors about his participation. Adding to the intrigue, Seungri had been spotted several times at a club in Bali, Indonesia, sparking questions about whether he was already in the country for the event. However, Seungri denied the claims in an interview, stating, "I don't even know where the location mentioned in the article is. I have no plans to attend." He also made it clear that he would be taking legal action through a local law firm against those spreading false information. In response to the growing backlash, with many accusing him of showing no remorse for his past actions, the event organizers later issued an apology and abruptly canceled the event. Seungri also addressed and denied earlier reports that claimed he was planning to open a club in Hong Kong shortly after his release from prison. At the same time, he clarified that the reason he attended a party in Cambodia right after leaving prison had nothing to do with any business venture, as some had suggested. Seungri made it clear that the occasion was purely personal, and contrary to the speculation, no one had paid him to be there or asked him to participate in any promotional activities. He explained that he attended the event simply to support an acquaintance who had recently launched a new beer pub. However, fans struggled to trust his intentions, as one comment noted that they wouldn't be surprised if he was just back to doing illegal things, while others simply expressed they weren't interested in knowing his whereabouts. Since then, Seungri has frequently found himself in and out of the spotlight, with various reports circulating about him either partying, being spotted with women, or enjoying leisurely trips throughout Southeast Asia. In addition to that, Seungri has consistently found himself at the center of multiple reports involving questionable behavior. The allegations against him range from inviting acquaintances to exclusive clubs and hosting lavish and extravagant parties to being seen in the company of individuals, such as Chinese actors who have been banned from professional activities due to past illegal convictions. One of the most significant scandals he faced occurred in October 2023 when Dispatch revealed allegations that he had been two-timing two different women during his vacation in Bali. According to an exclusive report, Dispatch uncovered how Seungri had carefully orchestrated his trip, bringing two women to Bali at different times to avoid any overlap in their schedules. He meticulously planned their arrivals and departures, leading to Woman A coming to Bali and leaving before Woman B arrived. first. The timing was such that the two women would never cross paths. However, Dispatch's shared chat records revealed that while Seungri was pursuing Woman B, he was also keeping his options open with Woman A. He would text Woman A while talking to Woman B on the phone and would take Woman A out to lunch, then go out to dinner with Woman B. The problem arose when both women ended up having the same travel plans, staying at the same seaside accommodations, and visiting the same restaurants and cafes. This overlap eventually led Woman B to figure out what was going on and confront Seungri. What Seungri had failed to notice was that both women knew each other and were following one another on Instagram, which allowed them to compare notes and expose his actions. Woman B made a final statement to Dispatch, explaining that once she confirmed Seungri had been two-timing her, she immediately left. She also shared that instead of being heartbroken, Seungri went to the club the following day, adding that he never reflects on his actions. He will never change. However, recently, in December 2024, a video began circulating across various social media platforms and online communities, quickly grabbing attention. The video showcased Seungri attending an exhibition abroad, but it wasn't just his appearance at the event that sparked interest. In the footage, Seungri was seen at a meeting, and he looked significantly different from his previously slender appearance. His face and physique appeared fuller, which immediately caught the eye of viewers. However, what attracted even more attention was not just his changed appearance, but the apparent continuation of his lavish lifestyle, seemingly unaffected by the scandal. This raised more than a few eyebrows, especially because Seungri's financial situation seemed largely undisturbed by the controversy. A caption accompanying the video further fueled the gossip, claiming that Seungri earned more money than G-Dragon. Reports later surfaced confirming that Seungri was in discussions with foreign investors, leading many to believe that he was preparing for new business ventures. During this period, he was notably spotted with Jacob Arabo, the founder and creative director of the Swiss luxury watch brand J. This brand had recently gained worldwide attention, particularly due to the highly publicized over $6 million ring worn by Big Bang's leader G-Dragon during the Mama Awards held in Japan the previous year. Seungri's association with the brand raised even more questions about his financial condition and business activities, with some commenters pointing out his former role as the CEO of YGX and suggesting that he might hold significant shares in YG Entertainment. Another comment mentioned that he also had a few buildings, cafes, bars in different parts of Asia, leading many to draw comparisons between Seungri and G-Dragon. Seungri was also seen in Hong Kong, where he was said to be living a relatively carefree life while mingling with women. Sporting a tailored suit and black-rimmed glasses, he appeared noticeably fuller than before. In one clip, he was seen shaking hands with a woman while two others lingered nearby. Another video showed him climbing a staircase with the same three women following closely behind. At one point, one of the women tripped, prompting Seungri to briefly turn and reveal his face to the op. His behavior showed no change after returning to Korea, as Seungri quickly became a familiar sight in the pubs and restaurants of Seoul's Gangnam district. Often casually dressed and accompanied by friends, he was spotted enjoying quiet drinks in secluded corners of these venues. According to an anonymous source, Seungri visits the pub at least twice a week. He drinks quietly before leaving without causing a stir. Although it's only been a year since Seungri's release from prison, he has not laid low, continuing with business ventures and high-profile meetings as if nothing ever happened. While some see this as a sign of resilience, it leaves many questioning whether he will ever truly be forgiven. Now in 2025, attention has shifted to NCT's Taeil. His unexpected update in April left fans genuinely surprised. The shocking news that former NCT member Taeil was involved in a serious criminal case with a foreign woman rocked fans in 2024. As the months passed with no updates, the story faded into uncertainty, leaving many wondering what was really going on. With a trial date on the horizon, Taeil's recent outings have caught people's attention, so let's take a closer look at where he's been lately. SM Entertainment released the shocking statement on August 28th, saying it had only recently learned that Taeil is under police investigation for a serious SA-related offense. After what it called a thorough but swiftly decisive review, SM came to an agreement with Taeil that he would withdraw from NCT. SM promised further updates and apologized to the public for the distress the case has caused. The news and SM's decision to kick him out of the group so quickly left everyone stunned, since the company isn't exactly known to kick out artists from their groups after scandals. However, the reactions from the company and his fellow NCT members led the public to believe that the situation was even more serious than initially thought. Within hours, the official accounts for NCT and NCT 127, as well as the members' personal accounts, all unfollowed him, with Taehyung even going as far as to delete all of the pictures they had together from his Instagram. Witnessing this, many were convinced that the crime that Taeil committed must have been especially heinous. The scandal also affected the schedules of the other members. Jaehyun's solo fan sign set for August 29th was pushed back, as were Mark and Haechan's fan call events. months. The Dear You Bubble platform also terminated Taeil's account, while NCT Zone announced that they would delete his in-game content and exclude him from future updates. Additionally, fan accounts dedicated to Taeil shut down in an instant. People went as far as to rip up their photo cards and even burn them, and Taeil's follower count crashed by more than 1 million in a single afternoon. Bongbei police later told KBS that they received a complaint in June from an adult woman, shutting down the rumors that the victim was a man and/or a minor, and formally booked Taeil. They refused to provide further details to protect the victim's identity. SM later issued a follow-up statement denying any prior knowledge of the accusations, claiming both the agency and Taeil were first made aware of the allegations in mid-August. They also confirmed that Taeil was questioned by the police on August 28th, the same day his departure was announced. Theories and speculation were swirling like crazy, but the only hard fact up to that point was that authorities and his own label are treating the allegation as gravely serious. On September 13th, the Seoul Bongbei police confirmed that Taeil's case had been passed to prosecution, though he wasn't detained. However, at this point, the exact details of the crime were still unclear. It wasn't until October 7th that the full story came out. Taeil was accused of a drunk woman in June alongside 2 non-celebrity associates. The victim had filed the report with the police on June 13th. The charges were for aggravated quasi, which involves assaulting someone who is incapacitated, often with others involved or while using force. Once the filing date became public, fans realized the crime likely took place during Taeil's own birthday outing with the 2 men charged alongside him, a detail that made the story even more revolting and disturbing. Adding to the outrage, Taeil went live just 1 day after the incident. He showed up barefaced, chatted casually about his fresh haircut, and even hummed along to a few songs, acting as if nothing had happened the night before. Then, 2 months after the accusation, Taeil was summoned for questioning. The news shocked many who knew the case was serious but hadn't realized the full extent. SM also kept quiet on the matter, which angered a lot of people since they weren't exactly sure about Taeil's position within the company. While he was no longer part of NCT, he was still under the agency's roster, leading to confusion. Would SM keep him until his contract ended, or would they wait for the verdict before deciding whether to let him go or bring him back if found innocent? The answer came on October 16th when SM issued a statement announcing that they had officially terminated his contract. They explained that the ongoing investigation alone was enough to justify the decision, stating that the situation had eroded their trust in him as an artist. Ultimately, the termination was made in mutual agreement. After the contract termination, the unfollows, and the removal of photos, many assumed that SM and their artists would never mention Taeil again, and for the most part, they were right. In fact, the only mention of him came completely by accident. During a live stream in February, Jeno discussed It's Awkward But It's Okay, a variety show that pairs NCT members who don't interact very often in awkward one-on-one situations. While talking about how fans wanted him to take a photo with Jisung for the show, Jeno ended up reflecting on his past appearances from 2020. Unfortunately, he was paired with Taeil during that season. Realizing this midway through his thoughts, he seemed taken aback and caught off guard. He quickly covered up his mouth before he rephrased his sentence to Taeil and I, oops, the member whom I took the AWSAZ picture with. I don't know if I could say that we became closer friends just because we posed for that picture together. Let's move on. The situation sparked mixed reactions. Some fans felt sympathy for Jeno, understanding that it must have been tough on him and the other members. They had been in the same group for years, and despite the gravity of the situation, it wasn't easy for them to erase their history with Taeil. On the other hand, some speculated that SM had likely given strict instructions to avoid mentioning him altogether, which would also be understandable. The next update regarding the situation came on March 4th, when the Seoul Central District prosecutors officially indicted Taeil and 2 others on quasi charges. However, when it was revealed that the charges were special quasi many speculated it involved a weapon. However, it was revealed that the charge refers to cases where multiple people are involved or the victim is incapacitated, not necessarily involving a weapon. Although investigators sought arrest warrants for the 3 men, the court rejected them, citing the suspects' admissions to the crime as the reason why they felt detention wasn't necessary. It wasn't until 2 months later, in August, that Taeil was called in for questioning. It was also revealed that by September, the case was handed over to prosecutors. Taeil has apparently maintained that the crime wasn't premeditated, but his refusal to appear when summoned raised eyebrows. He claimed health issues as the reason for his absence, supported by a doctor's note and a statement from his lawyer. This sparked anger among netizens, both in Korea and internationally, who were outraged by the court's decision to deny the arrest warrants despite his confession. Many felt Taeil should have been detained, especially after admitting to the crime. One commenter said, "I don't understand the logic that if someone admits to a crime, then they should be allowed to be free until trial. The crime is too serious to just trust they're not a danger to society." society. Many also doubted his health excuse for skipping the summons. Critics noted he had carried out his crime while still on crutches from a motorcycle crash and even made it to a fan event in August, the same month he was questioned by the police. If he could manage those appearances, they argued, he could have faced investigators too. Finally, a date everyone had been waiting for dropped on April 19th. Korean media revealed that Seoul Central District Court's 26th Criminal Division had set in May 12th for Taeil's first hearing, along with his two buddies. The news set off a wave of chatter. Some people complained that the case was still inching along, only to be met with reminders that court calendars move pretty slowly, so this was quick by those standards. Others were already bracing themselves, convinced he'd walk away with a slap on the wrist sentence of a few months, maybe a couple of years, which felt nowhere near enough considering the nature of the crime he committed. A Reddit user predicted, given Korea's track record, he'll be sentenced to 3 years in prison but will be out in 1.5 years because of good behavior. Some commenters even joked that if someone slipped illegal substances into Taeil's pocket, the courts might finally get serious and tack on extra years. However, with the trial date locked in, most people expected him to keep a low profile and at least pretend to feel remorse. Instead, on April 21st, a Twitter user posted 2 photos of a man believed to be Taeil having dinner and drinks with a male and a female companion. The tweet read, "I saw Moon Taeil previously. Seems like he's going around drinking with his first trial impending," and claimed one friend begged them not to take any pictures because Taeil was having a tough time. The post was deleted soon after, but screenshots of it spread like wildfire and outrage followed from all sides. A Twitter user said, "Not only should he be behind bars, but never have contact with a woman ever again. This is sickening." Others mocked the idea that Taeil was the one suffering, pointing out the real victim was likely still dealing with trauma while he enjoyed a night out. People were especially stunned that a woman chose to socialize with him, fully aware of what he'd been accused of. One netizen commented, "Why would anyone want to stay close to a offender? If it were me, I'd be creeped out and cut ties immediately." Some speculated the woman was his sister, though that remains unconfirmed. Others argued that because Taeil was never one of NCT's most popular members, he probably thought no one would notice him drinking while such grave charges and even a trial date loomed over him. Now that the first hearing is locked in, all eyes are on the courtroom as people want this case wrapped up swiftly and the victim to receive the justice that has been too long in coming. Fame doesn't last forever, and for some, life after the spotlight can be shocking, dramatic, or even tragic. If you want to uncover more stories like these, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.